Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So as you can see, I've got my freshly washed frizzy hair. My skin is not in the greatest shape. I'm still really struggling to try and get my sleep schedule under control. I did finally get around to shaving my face though, so hopefully my foundation looks okay, but I do want to film a video where I do unknown shenanigans as usual. I did receive a pretty hefty PR package from Florasis, and they actually have more that they're sending me, so it's not like Florasis requires me to make content, but I do kind of as a general rule of principle try to show everything that I receive in PR just out of like, you know, respect, because like I'm such a small little channel and I'm already barely active as it is, so I really do try to at least show the PR I got. Now I think Florasis overall can sometimes be frequently pretty mid and kind of overpriced, but that's not going to stop me from showing you some of the stuff that I got, so I'll start with that, and then anything that I don't have from Florasis, which is a lot, I will go ahead and bring in other products that I have been wanting to share. So my makeup desk is like high-key a mess, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so first I am going to start off with primer. I haven't done any priming yet. I've been testing out this MISSHA Glow Skin Balm. This came in my most recent YesStyle order, and I just haven't gotten around to using it till very recently. For those who don't know, I'm like I haven't run out yet, but I'm on my last backup, so I'm perpetually looking for a replacement for the Dominique Cosmetics Ultra Hydrating Primer. I don't know why brands make those kinds of products limited edition in the first place. That just strikes me as really weird. Like, I can understand limited edition color products, but like limited edition base products that somebody's gonna want to use over and over again for years on end, that's just rude. So they discontinued it. It's been years. I think they discontinued it probably at this point at least 5 years ago, and I still haven't really found a good dupe for it yet. This one is hydrating and it does make my skin look very glowy and it does feel really nice, but it's not the same consistency. I feel like Korean primers that are hydrating do tend to be pretty good, but it's still not the same, but it does feel nice. My skin is very dry today. It's finally starting to cool off. And then I'm going to put on some under eye primer. Okay, so I'm gonna give my primer like a minute or two to really kind of settle. So they're releasing a new collection that has this really pretty packaging. It's white packaging with kind of a Chinese brush painting look to it, which I personally am a really big fan of the packaging. I do think it's really, really pretty, and I especially like this packaging in particular because it reminds me of my dad's Chinese brush paintings, which I really, really love his art. I have so much of it hung up around the house. It's like called, I think, like the Embroidered collection, and it should be out either very quickly after or right around the time that this video is going to be uploaded. And there are several products in it. So I got this tinted pressed powder, the Yurong Airbrush tinted pressed powder. It comes in two shades, Z20, Z25. I opened up Z20, which is right here. And then they also are releasing the Flawless Jade Breathable Longwear Cushion Foundation. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of when Asian brands are pushing for global releases, sending PR to global influencers and creators, and then they release a shade range that's literally like ass. So I'm gonna use this on camera, but I'm telling you, it literally only comes in like 3 shades, I think. I have the other 2 boxes here. I'm not gonna open them because I'm gonna gift them to my friends and family, so I'm not gonna open them because they're unused. But here are the other 2 shades. I'm pretty sure they're all equally light, so I will use it, but I personally I'm not gonna spend much time talking about it because I do not want to recommend a foundation range that is crap when the brand has and maintains and is pushing a global presence. They also are going to be they also had these 3 blushes, the Ethereal Flush Smooth Powder Blush. I'm kind of iffy on these. These honestly look super, super mid, but we'll see. I'll use it and we'll see what happens. And then there's also they also sent me one of the shades of their highlighter, the Gentle Ways Aqua Gold highlighter. I received it in the shade 03. I'm not feeling super hopeful about this, but I'm always ready to be surprised. And then lastly, they released 2 shades of the Eastern Beast Sculpting Makeup Palette. Now one of them's a re-promote, but here is the shade 01. This is brand new. Actually, no, I'm not gifting this to a friend. This is going to be my display palette because the other one I actually do use and I'm starting to wear off on. Let me get the other one out for you. Here is the original release, and it has this kind of jade colored packaging. Yes, I leave the plastic on. Am I a real Asian if I don't leave the plastic on everything if possible? Here's mine. You can see that it has been a little bit worn down. It's the exact same shade, it's just a re-promoted packaging. It's very, very pretty, so I'm gonna keep that as my display one. That's gonna be my decorating one. And now I have free reign to use this guilt-free. Awesome. Okay, and then they did also release shade 02, which is the bronzer here absolutely is not going to work for me, but I actually really love this pink toned highlighter. Now again, they could be going so much darker than just these two palettes. Like for instance, Flower Nose's recent Butterfly collection, they released 2 shades of face palettes that are similarly intriguing, but they both are like so freaking light. So again, I think they're very pretty. The quality is really nice, and if you are a lighter olive undertone looking for a really nice neutral tone bronzer slash contour, this is really honestly a really great shade. So I do want to say that if you're like me and you have trouble finding great contour bronzing shades, this is actually a pretty good find in my humble opinion. But I will say that just having this second shade, it's nice, but like we could be going much darker. I used to have a lot more cushion foundations than I do now. The thing is, if you're not using it consistently on an everyday basis, cushion foundations can and do dry out, and you know, then it's kind of just like a waste of money. Also, the cushion foundation I used for the longest time has long ago, it's been discontinued for years, at least 6 years. It was the Sulwhasoo Perfecting Cushion EX in the shade 17. That cushion is still to this day one of the most beautiful complexion products of all time that I ever had the pleasure of using. I am married to their first care activating serum. That's never leaving, but you know, that foundation was so good. I'm still bitter that it's gone. This is one of those pimples where if you poke it, it hurts really bad. So this is going to take a really long time to go away, which is great. Thanks. I appreciate it really. I'm going to first color correct my red spots. I've got mostly just this one. I have been playing Honkai Star Rail a lot more, and it's so irritating to me that Genshin and Honkai, that MiHoYo is like not putting male characters in any of their games these days. Like, I looked back on the 5-star release schedule in Genshin Impact, and literally Kinich is the only 5-star male that released in the entirety of 2024, and I was like, really? So I started playing Honkai Star Rail just because I've been like, I missed playing turn-based RPGs, and so I picked it up just so that I could scratch my turn-based itch, and I've been really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I just started in 2.5, and I remember that, and Honkai also has an extremely unbalanced male to female ratio. So I just started playing in 2.5, and they're rerunning Imbibitor Lune Aventurine, and they're gonna release Sunday literally consecutively. I was so mad. Like, I was like, could my luck have literally been any worse? I figured starting the game it'd be pretty easy for me to save up for the male characters because they released so far in between, and then now they're just rerunning them all at once. The only way it could possibly get worse is if they rerun Dr. Ratio right after Sunday, or if they rerun Blade right after Sunday, because I actually, like, I am gonna have to skip Aventurine so that I can get Danheng and Sunday, because I figured, oh, I have Jeopard, so I can skip Aventurine even though Aventurine is like the best, and if I want to do the Spiral Abyss equivalent, I need a sustain on both teams, so like I kind of need Aventurine, but like, so I'm like rapidly playing through the game and the side missions and stuff, praying, hoping that I can get enough to get all 3, but beyond that I'm gonna be broke again. And I am actually like almost entirely F2P for Honkai Star Rail, like, because I've spent the limited amount of gacha money that I let myself spend per month is currently pretty much 95% Genshin, so I don't even have money to spend on Honkai if I wanted to, so I'm literally just gonna have to do nothing. If all of the male units rerun back to back, literally the only thing I can do is cry. I just realized I still don't have paper towels. Okay, so the first time you dip into a cushion foundation, there's always going to be a lot of product and your sponge is going to pick up way more than necessary. So when that happens, you really, ideally, you would like dab some off on the back of your hand and, you know, wipe it off with a paper towel, but I forgot my paper towels again. Pro tip for those of you who are new to cushion foundations, you generally speaking do not want to go mashing your sponge in and plastering the foundation all over your face. Cushion foundations are formulated with the assumption that you're going to be putting really thin layers down. So I put way too much on. This is too much. And you see now how it's a little bit difficult to blend out because of the fact that I put on so much. If you do put on too much cushion foundation though, I do have a trick that can help you. I'll show you guys what to do. But yeah, I pushed way too hard. I haven't opened a new cushion foundation in so long that I forget how loaded the sponge is when you first open it. So that was my bad. Yeah, you see like it looks so heavy right now because this is just too much. I should have just lightly poked the sponge and that would have been enough for both sides of my face. Like, do you see how loaded that sponge is right now? Okay, so let me show you what I do. So here is just a dry sponge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a setting spray. I just realized I forgot to turn off my air filter, so I'm going to denoise it as best I can, but if you heard a ton of backgrounds just like hum, that was my air filter running. I have air filters that I run 24/7 just because like I have cats and I don't like it when dust gets on my makeup. But I turn it off before I film because, you know, obviously it's noisy. I really want to get a quieter one. My sister has a Shark one that is super, super quiet and I would love to upgrade, but I haven't had the money. And the sponge will pull off that top layer. Having the setting spray, like soaking the sponge with some setting spray beforehand can also help with making your makeup last longer. So if I ever am doing my makeup and I need it to last all day, I will do this trick even like too much foundation or not, I'll do this trick. And like, don't get me wrong, I love a full coverage foundation, but trying to force a cushion foundation to be full coverage you're not gonna have a good time. Okay, so now you can see that just looks so much better. And because I shaved my face, the foundation overall just looks a lot less textured because it's not like sticking to all of my, I can't even call my face hairs peach fuzz. I have some serious facial hair. Like, it's not to the level of hormone imbalance, I don't think, maybe. But like, I have some serious more than peach fuzz, less than facial hair, and it's really, really bothersome. Okay, I am going to use concealer, and I kind of just want to use like some lighter concealer today, like not cream concealer, because I still haven't washed my brushes. I'm just going to be using this very cute mini of the Tarte Shape Tape, and you need very little. This mini is in the shade 12N. I'm not even kidding. It's so tiny, it's so cute. But like, this is all the shape tape I need. I don't need any more than this. And I will add more coverage with a powder foundation, or with the Florasis setting powder. We're just gonna have visible under eyes for today's look. Like, I just really don't feel like trying to cover them right now. My under eyes are super dry today. I generally find Florasis's powders to be okay. Like, I think they're fine. I think they're like really expensive, right? Because the packaging is so nice. So I personally, if you're gonna pick like a matte setting powder, I still think Flower Nose makes better ones. Flower Nose just has some of the most finely milled soft powders that I've ever used, period. When you have Flower Nose as a metric, especially when Flower Nose is usually Flower Nose is slightly cheaper than Florasis. I have a hard time recommending Florasis's setting powders over Flower Nose. I don't think the Florasis powders are bad by any means. I just think that like there's better options that they're competing against. Okay, but like, I take back what I said. This one actually looks really nice. So like, I didn't set my cheeks right, and I set my under eyes. So like, look at the difference. And then suddenly, bam, smooth. Okay, like, okay, actually this powder is actually really nice. And you see on my nose, but do you see how on my nose it kind of, and so when you apply too much cushion foundation and then you put powder on top, this on my nose, do you see like this weird texture right here? This is what can happen. Versus like, so you see it looks like it's catching on dry patches on my nose. That's just too much foundation. And then on the tip of my nose where I had applied actually a very thin layer of the foundation, the tip of my nose looks nice and smooth. Actually, I think this powder has potential. I'm babysitting some kittens right now. They're about like 2.5 weeks old, and so I'm like I have kitten in my brain, and I'm like, my ADHD is at like high octane because I'm like distracting myself thinking about these kittens. They're really cute, by the way. They're not sick or anything. I'm thinking about them because they're so freaking cute. They're both orange. And I like very rarely get orange kittens, and they're like orange potatoes, and you look at them and they just look at you, and you're just like, you guys have no thoughts in your head. There is no brain cell. Like, they're so stinking cute. So sorry, I like literally, I can't think right now. I have kitten brain. Woo, it's all just like I don't have thoughts. I kind of want to like not do eye primer today because I'm gonna do a warm tone makeup look today, because I said that I was going to use the PRADA Balm, which is like a burnt bricky red color that I picked because that's just my favorite color of tinted balm. And so I really want to pair that with a cape with this palette right here. I haven't actually gotten a chance to use this yet. Like, I bought this on Prime Day because it was like super good deal. I've been really drawn to these PERIPERA palettes for a really long time, mostly just because they're so cute, and I don't know why, but the clear packaging that has been the thing for Korean brands just is so clean and so minimal, and I can see what's inside, that I just am drawn to it, and I want to collect them. So this is the shade 03. It's themed after a Korean snack. The middle is meant to look like a Korean snack. So I'm gonna use this today. I want to use this because it's like nice and warm tone. Which, by the way, I know I still need to use my Natasha Denona. I need a warm. I know. I still need to make 3 looks 1 palette, and she just released the purple palette, which yes, I'm gonna buy. I know. Don't talk to me. And then I want to pair this with the Chanel orange blush or whatever other orange blushes I can think of. Or not. I'm not sure. But yeah, I really wanted to use this today. So as you can probably guess, this is like not super complicated, right? Like, what are we gonna get out of this, right? It's not gonna be super complicated today, but I did want it to just be like a really nice warm eyeshadow look, because I haven't done a warm tone, like just a true old-fashioned simple warm tone eye makeup look in a really long time. And don't get me wrong, I used to think that I could only wear warm tones. I didn't realize that I was versatile enough that I can actually pull off multiple tones of eyeshadows. And so when I realized that I actually can make myself look pretty good in cool tones, I was on such a huge cool tone kick, like you can definitely notice. But there's something still really comfy about going back to warm tones, and I do warm tones so infrequently now. It's nice to go back, especially now that it's fall. Do really want that Makeup by Mario palette. Like, I'm so tempted. I definitely don't need it at all, but like I swatched it in Sephora today, and the mattes made me want to buy it just to have the experience of trying those mattes. The mattes felt divine, but I will say the shimmers felt kind of eh. Like, it's hard to tell with Sephora testers, right? Because they're open all day and they've been touched by so many hands. So especially with shimmers and creams and stuff, you can never tell if you're actually really getting to test the true texture. Because for all you know, it's been sitting out in the air all day, and like a bunch of nasty people's hands have touched it. You never know. But the shimmers kind of felt a little bit sus because I'm curious, but like $68 plus tax for a curiosity sounds kind of dumb. So I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I do really want it though. I actually have never tried a Makeup by Mario palette, and I've always wanted to. But like the opportunity has yet to present itself. I'm gonna like take this shadow is light enough, I think I can just like blow it out further. Also, just for those of you who looked at the Roxa palette from Natasha Denona and think that it's like super unique and colorful and fun because it's purple, you can probably dupe almost that entire palette if you have her Valentine's releases. If you don't have her Valentine's releases, then it's actually a pretty cool palette, but I think if you have any of her Valentine's releases, you might actually be able to duplicate the palette across that. Just like for those of you who were like kind of on the fence, you might not actually need it. So the reason that I don't usually buy Korean beauty palettes is you can kind of see, do you see how dark I'm getting? And this is like how dark the palette goes, right? There's one shade darker than this and that's it. And so like for as much as I love looking at Korean beauty eyeshadow palettes because the packaging is so clean and the pan sizes and the way the pans are arranged is just so efficient and so minimal, and I love looking at it and it's just so aesthetic and appealing. When all the colors are like lighter than my skin tone, I'm just like, okay, but like what's the point? Half that palette doesn't even show up on me, and then when it doesn't go very dark at all, I'm like, I feel like I can't do anything with this. So that's why I don't end up buying most of them. So like, do you see like this is about as dark as I'm getting with this palette? I'm probably gonna have to go into a different palette to like pull from. I think I might also be a little bit overexposed. I'm sorry if I am. Okay, I'm gonna go into the darkest brown in this palette now. My eyelid itself could be so matte that I can't fill it up to full opacity. I will say though, you can kind of tell they blend into a soft, the softness, the blend, the blur is unparalleled. So if you're into that, then I think Asian shadows are going to be the way to go for you. Especially because I haven't worn makeup in so long and I just finally am starting to get back into filming. I'm liking using these Asian shadows right now just to kind of ease myself into remembering how to blend and other important things like that. Thank you guys, by the way, for leaving so many lovely, sweet comments on my previous video, and also for reaching 4K subs. I was kind of shocked at how the engagement on that video, to be honest, especially because I was running my mouth and I could not edit it down to be under 50 minutes. I was like, good lord, who is going to watch me talk? But apparently I'm pretty interesting, which I'm not sure how I am, but so thank you guys so much. I read each and every comment. You guys are so sweet, and like honestly, like because you guys, it's like so generic at this point, but like because you guys are like always leaving such nice comments, it helps me fill my motivation bucket to beat the ADHD and come back and film again. So this is pretty much about as dark as this palette gets, which it is what it is. I can just use the pointed tip of this, right? I'm gonna take that dark brown and just gonna I mean, I guess it's nice that it's not too dark for like the lower lash line, I guess, because like that way the lower lash line you can keep things under control pretty easily. So I do like using Asian shadows on my lower lash line. The blend is really nice. Like this is the kind of blend you get out of Asian shadows, but you get no depth. I'll go ahead and open this up. I got this from NARIMI's most recent release, which, God, her stuff sells out so lightning fast. It is ridiculous. Like, even if I try and place it with a shopping service, there's not even a chance the shopping service will get it. But here is the packaging. As you can tell, this kind of is like giving me like Sumeru Aramite vibes. It's always very beautiful hand-drawn art. This one is, as you can probably guess by the cover, this is an all matte palette. So I'm going to use the shade on the end here. And I'm just going to use that to add a little bit of extra depth to the whole thing. And I am going to go back to the PERIPERA palette for the shimmers, so don't worry. I just really wanted to add a little bit of extra depth. Now NARIMI's shadows are very different from mainstream mass appeal bigger Asian brands. NARIMI is, being an indie brand, being an influencer-owned indie brand, she has an extremely colorful alternative aesthetic, and that reflects in her palettes. They're very colorful, very beautiful, very unique tones and color arrangements that are super, super creative and fun. This is actually her most tame palette to date, period. Most of her palettes are extremely colorful. If you're unable to get her stock before it sells out, I know Look Healthy Store frequently buys a lot of advanced stock from her and then sells it. The markup is pretty insane. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but in exchange you can definitely you usually have a much easier time getting it. And I know for people who live in the EU, Look Healthy Store actually is cheaper than buying from Taobao and using a shopping service, because Look Healthy Store handles customs fees a lot better. They also do tend to run deals a lot, like 25% off site-wide, free shipping, that can then kind of undo the markup that you see. So if you're smart about it, you can actually end up not paying as much over the retail price as you thought you might. I'm just keeping this shade, hugging it more to my like lash line. I just wanted a little bit of depth, but I don't want it to take up to like conquer the entire look and then make it look different. It's just a little bit more extra, but you see it makes a really big difference. Yeah, so I literally just used one shade from this palette. Yeah, I did buy this one as well. Very, very pretty. One thing I do like about Korean brands, as I've mentioned before, is their eyeshadow sparkles can be really pretty. So I think I'm gonna take this shade here, and I'm going to use that kind of on the middle of my eyelids. You see it's a little bit more smooth and has a little bit more pigmentation to it, but you can use it in a way that's more sheer. And these generally do work best with a finger or with a sponge tip applicator. This whole palette I got on Prime Day, so it was actually, I think I only got it for like 15 bucks, which these days is honestly a steal for a palette of this size and quality. And technically speaking, the middle shade can be used as a highlighter, and these two bigger pans can be used either to blend out eyeshadow or to be used as blush. It's PERIPERA, it's a Korean brand, so I think you can tell what skin tone this was made for. But on me, this shade in particular, this would be a very pretty blush on me. So as a result, like overall for the price, I think this palette is really not that bad, because of the fact that, especially if you can get it on sale, and you very rarely have to pay full price to get your hand on these PERIPERA palettes. The reason I haven't bought one up until now, because this is definitely not their first release of a palette like this, is just because of the fact that most of their palettes that are released, most of their all-in-one palettes like this, are like so light with no dark shades. This is literally one of the most high contrast releases they've ever had, which says a lot about Korean makeup trends in general. So I hadn't bought anyone prior to this just for that reason. I kind of wiped off this one. I'll just reuse it. And now I'm going to take the brightest shimmer on my inner corner. And as like, I really like doing the thing where like, as you've seen me do multiple times now across many videos, I like taking it and like swooping it up and across. It really helps to kind of shape my eyes. Plus I have that real estate there, I might as well make use of it. This particular shade seems to have a couple different reflex in it. Like it's not just straight champagne, it has some orange and gold and yellow and white reflex in it, so it's really, really pretty. Yeah, like so unrevolutionary, but it's really pretty, just like really simple. Okay, so I totally didn't realize I haven't done my eyebrows yet. So I'm gonna do my eyebrows and my mascara off camera, and then I'll be right back in a few seconds. I did the mascara and the eyebrows. I just used Glossier Brow Flick because honestly it's pretty late at night, so I like just didn't really want to like invest a little too much time into my eyebrows. And honestly I think sometimes doing just brow pen brows can have a really nice fluffy airy look to them. I feel like this is like dry. I wonder if I need to like sharpen it and sharpen off the dry bits. Either that, or I wonder if it just has some product buildup from like picking up the eyeshadow that I put it on top of. I really need to remember to bring in some paper towels, and I might just need to scribble this on a paper towel several times to kind of get that layer off. I wonder if that's all I really need to do. You guys, it just like freaking fell out. Bobbi Brown! Well, in the process of putting it back down, I smushed it. I was initially planning on getting several shades of this because the shades looked so cool, but well, I can't confirm that. It seems like it's just the outer portion that's dry, because like now that but like literally, do you see how pieces of it crumbled off? I'm gonna have to make a biggest makeup disappointments ever, or like makeup that catfished me, because this is totally a candidate. I don't understand what is wrong with this product, because when I first started using it I loved it, and now it's just like, it's actually kind of like making me really mad. Like it totally ripped me off. I've not even had it for that long. I might be able to work this in just to like blend it out. This is in the shade 01 Apricot Milk. The other shade that I have, there's three shades: Apricot Milk, Candy Clouds, which is like a very blue, almost like blendy outy kind of pink, and then the second shade is Coral Whisper. This shade I thought I could use today, but it's actually more of a mauve. It's not really coral. So what I really wanted to use today obviously was the Tarot blush in the shade Blood Orange. I actually saw these available both on the Chanel US website. I looked while I was editing, so if you want them, like maybe they're still there, I don't know. They're out of stock like everywhere else though, but here's orange. I love this color. Really hate how good the Chanel blushes, limited edition blushes, are. They really have no right being as good as they are. The lavender one shocked me, and you all got to see me be shocked, just like speechless. I'm gonna use this, and as you can see I almost put on too much, and I didn't set my cheeks, so I'm expecting it to kind of stick down and not blend out too much, but that's fine because I'm gonna use other stuff on top of it later. And even on top of a completely unset tacky foundation, it still is blending out pretty easily. This one is way more pigmented than the lavender one. I should have expected that, so I'm gonna remember to layer it up more slowly. I'm gonna connect this kind of to my eyeshadow, and since it's a darker shade, it's more pigmented, I can go ahead and like kind of wrap it up and around my cheek without much issue. I'm not blush blind, I just really like blush, and I like how I look with a lot of blush. Like listen, not all of us are blush blind, some of us know. We know how much blush we're applying, and we made a choice. This is the choice we made. Oh my gosh, okay, like seriously, this is such a great shade of orange, and it's matte. I am always just repeatedly shocking myself at how good Chanel's limited edition blushes are. Like I always expect them to just be like $70 paperweights that I buy because I'm a sucker, and then I'm like, oh wait, hold on, these are like actually good. Like I don't own any permanent Chanel blushes because they kept getting reformulated, so I just was like, what the heck, I was so confused. So all the ones I own are from their limited edition collections, and they're all like so nice. It's like kind of weird. And it would look even nicer if my skin wasn't in such bad condition, but it's still really smooth even on my like bad skin day. What is this madness? It looks so good. It's not like the yellow orange, it's orange. I like it. And I could see myself using like a yellow on the edges to like make the sunset gradient really pull. This is a balanced enough orange that I could blend it out with a pinkier tone to really pull out the red in it, or I could blend it out with yellow and make it look much more like mango orange. Like it's such a balanced shade of orange. This is really great. I love this. Okay, so I'm now going to try the Florasis Ethereal Flush Smooth Powder Blush in Apricot Milk. These are some tiny ass pans, and they look like they're going to be kind of like chalky. Like I don't know. These, they look kind of cheap, I'm not gonna lie, okay? So, but we'll see. And I'm just gonna use this to like blend out the shade. So it's probably not even gonna really show up on me. But these kinds of lighter shades, they're good to just like really make sure that your blush is diffused. Yeah, the apricot, the Florasis blushes, they seem to have a very faint kind of sparkle inside of them. So they're kind of adding a glow to my cheek. Do you see that? Not what I would have preferred, but we're testing out random makeup, so. It is doing a great job of blending out my blush, but I actually don't know what this would look like on my skin because it's so freaking light. And because it's got a little bit of sparkle to it, I don't think this would be super flattering. I don't know, if I was going to use my own personal blush collection to blend out this blush, I would just be using my PERIPERA collection or something. Florasis has made some really beautiful blush and highlighter formulas, and this is just not it. It's just like, no. Because I know they can do better than that. Like, I just took one look at this and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, and do you see how like it's like not even that finely milled? You can kind of see how the powder broke off in the pan. They have made so much more beautiful blushes and highlighters in the past. I know they can do better than that, especially for the prices that they charge. Just for the sake of showing you guys, I will go ahead and use my personal Eastern Beasts palette. I'll show you guys the highlighter in this. This highlighter, it's so pretty. So pretty. I think if you're looking for a shade that's similar to Revelation, this is a tad bit darker, and it doesn't have the sparkle that the normal, because like the Revelation from Flower Nose, the old formula, it's sparkly and it's smooth and it's translucent and it's glassy, but it still has like dancing sparkles to it. This doesn't have the sparkly aspect, but it has everything else. So like in my humble opinion, if you are desperately looking for a dupe for Revelation, I do think the Eastern Beasts highlighter specifically of shade 01 is probably going to be your best bet, which is really dumb that you would have to buy this whole palette just for like the highlighter, but I'm like, I haven't found a dupe for Revelation yet. I'll let you guys know if that ever happens. But I think you guys can see from this application that it's a really pretty highlighter though. I think the Eastern Beasts palette is one of their better products for sure, especially considering it's expensive, but I do actually think it's worth it if you can get it to work for your skin tone. Really the only thing is I wish, that's so pretty, like the Eastern Beasts palette, it does actually have more. Like Florasis, to me, they're either really mid and overpriced or they are legitimately good but still kind of expensive. Like sometimes they remind me of Hourglass where they're expensive but they are good. So you don't necessarily feel like you totally wasted your money, but you also know going in that you're kind of wasting your money. But then other times it's like they have some stuff that are like actually a waste of money. And I do like it, and I like mine, and I'm glad that I have a second one that I can display and never touch. And I am eager to try the pink highlighter in shade 02. I'll try that sometime. But the orange blush, I can't get over it. It looks so nice. I'm gonna use this Hazel Orange shade from PERIPERA. I'm gonna use this kind of on the outer part of my face. This is more of like a burnt orange. And so I'm just going to completely skip the bronzer and contour today and just have blush on the outer part of my face. I don't really, bronzer and contour is probably the product that I could go with. Like if I had to sacrifice one product in my makeup routine for the rest of my life, bronzer contour would be the one that I would kick because I can totally make do with just straight blush. I'm waiting for contouring with blush and no bronzer, only blush, because like the no blush only bronzer trend had its heyday. I am waiting for the reverse. I'm waiting for TikTok to finally pick up the let's contour our face with blush and not use bronzer, only blush. Like I'm waiting for that to be the next trend. I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. And I could have for this, I could have used the NYX blushes, but those are all really glowy and I just wanted to like keep the outer perimeters of my face more matte. Also, I don't think I'm gonna have any Halloween themed makeup videos up this year. Pièce de résistance, which I think I used that in the previous video, so I really need to stop. I need to like eliminate that term from my vocabulary. This is the Prada lip balm. It is heavy. It's heavy. I like it. It's beautiful. It's got the sleek triangle logo engraved on the front. It's got Prada engraved on the front and back. It does not have the shade name on it. It just has the number. And it just has like the sticker with everything on the back. It is a magnetic closure and it just feels substantial. I like it. If I'm gonna spend $50 on a lip, which, okay, I used the Sephora gift card on it, but if I'm gonna spend $50 on a lip balm, I want it to be heavy and I want it to feel like $50, and it feels like $50. I just gotta say, if I'm gonna buy an overpriced lip balm, this is the overpriced lip balm to buy just on packaging alone. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. Prada really does make some absolutely beautiful products. I'm just gonna put that out right there. Onto what's inside. Inside has the Prada mint green, and you can see the little cuts and everything. Like, it's mint green on the end. It's so pretty. And then you can see the bullet itself has it has some texture to it. Obviously all of this is purely aesthetic and means nothing for the actual formulation, but it's luxury. And you can see the tip also has the triangle cut. So yeah, it's a tinted lip balm. I really don't know how innovative or life-changing this is going to be, but yeah, I'm gonna use this now. I don't know, I just really wanted to treat myself to a Prada lip balm. I've been staring at them for a while now and I just really wanted to try one. Like, I'm not really expecting it to like be like a revolutionary formula. I'm not expecting it to transform my life. I'm not expecting it to do my taxes. It's just a lip balm. I am hoping at the least that it is balmy and makes my lips hydrated, and I'm hoping it's not clear. Okay, so here's what it looks like. It's actually not quite as intensely warm as I thought it would be online, but it's actually quite pigmented. Like, now that I've really got the layers on, it's really starting to settle. So I'm just gonna kind of put this around the edges of my lip. Ooh, now that it's really settling in, it's making my lips look so luscious. Like, it's really making my lips look so hydrated. Like, it's almost making my lips look plumper, but it doesn't have, like, it's not like actually a plumper. You know what I probably should have done to really make it more orange is I should have found a matte liquid orange lipstick and used like a brush or something to really like get it to look better. I should have done that, but hindsight is 20/20. That's okay. So I'm glad that I like this. Like, it's $50. I don't think a tinted lip balm can ever be worth $50. Like, even if it's like made of like freaking like gold and precious metals, it still wouldn't be worth $50 because it would still just be like a decorative paperweight that happens to moisturize your lips a little bit. So I don't think there's ever a universe where it can be worth $50, but at the same time, there's something to be said for a luxury piece that makes you look at it and you're like, but I don't regret spending $50 on it. If I'd actually used my own money to buy this, I wouldn't have regretted it. And I certainly don't regret using my Sephora gift card on it. I got it mostly as a treat for myself because I was just like, my life sucks. I want a Prada $50 lip balm. I'm gonna get one, and I did, and I like it. My bangs will grow in eventually and I'll look less dumb, okay? Just give it time. Give it like another 2 weeks and my bangs will be long again. But ignoring my extremely frizzy hair, which I am like, there's a new Kerastace hair mask that has the Amo dimethicone thing that that Lab Muffin really likes. It's in like the 3rd ingredient and I felt it in Sephora and it felt really nice. So I'm gonna be getting that on the upcoming Sephora sale for sure. It's like a hair mask from Kerastace. I'm gonna try that, but we'll see if that helps. Like, I feel like I've tried everything for my hair, okay? And honestly, I like pretty much everything I used that was like not the Florasis stuff, just like my personal items. I really liked everything that I used. Nothing revolutionary. My lashes actually are still holding up pretty good. I don't know why, but my Korean mascaras these days don't have the hold they used to. I think because they're all trying to go like vegan and clean and shit, like they just don't work like they used to. So I'm really having to like start branching elsewhere to look for mascara options. Also, my lashes are so short and thin and pathetic these days. They used to be so much better back in the day, but like, and I'm not even like, I'm pretty sure I'm not even that old, but like, why are my lashes so thin? I mean, my hair is thin too. It must just be like the stress and the long COVID and but stuff like that, but everything else I liked. Like I said, my honest opinion about the vast majority of Florasis is that it is beautiful, but it's pretty and there's not really too much substance behind it. But they do have a few hero products that I do legitimately think are really nice, with one of them being the Eastern Beasts palette. I also do think some of their Fan and like Phoenix palettes are legitimately not just like pretty, they are actually really nice quality. Like, as far as satin baked shadows go, they're actually really pretty and really great for like more subtle looks that are like, if you don't want like full-on shimmer but you just want that soft satin look, I think they are really great options. I also think that some of Florasis's like lip products, especially their like really luxurious lipsticks, are really pretty and the formula is really nice. I just don't think these especially are gonna be it. I really do like their setting powder, and the cushion I'm sure is fine as long as you don't use too much like I just did. But again, I just really do not like when Asian brands start going real global, but they just keep their shade range that big. So I'm not really going to recommend either of those, but you know, it is what it is. Just as a reminder, the Eastern Beast shade 01 in this packaging is a re-promote, so if you already have this version, you don't need to get this, it's redundant. So don't go buying it again. And as for the peach powder that I used last week, okay, so the one I used last week was white, but it was like not like the super brightening like purple white, it was just like the standard white. This is the one that I used last week. And it's actually quite nice. It's really not bad, but I think in terms of setting powders, I just still think Flower Nose makes better ones. So anyways, that's just kind of my general thing about Florasis. I do kind of want to make a more in-depth Florasis brand overview video later once the rest of my PR comes in. Just to like really share my honest thoughts on the brand, because I know, like for example, there was a period of time where a lot of YouTubers were getting sponsored by them. So I think it would be useful for me to, like, now that I've had Florasis in my hands for like a year plus and I've used a lot of their products, some of them multiple times, I think it would be nice for me to be able to like just do like an overview of the brand, like what actually I think about it, what actually I think is worth your money and what's not, like just like really like, hey, I get to be completely honest because I don't care if they stop sending me PR or not, right? So I'll do that eventually. But anyways, everything else on my face is nice. I think my makeup looks really good. It's really simple, but it's a warm tone makeup look for fall. Revolutionary. 3 looks 1 palette with Natasha Denona, I Need a Warm. It is coming up. It's in the pipeline. Okay, it'll be worked on. But yeah, other than that, it's all good. I do not lose my 50-50 when pulling for Dan Hung, the cooler Dan Hung. And then hopefully I'm hoping that I can even maybe get extra super lucky and then I'll have enough pulls for him eventually and Sunday. That would be nice. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.